What it is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be wrapping up our cartoon retrospectives with a retrospective of all the Disney tunes out there, all the classics that we grew up with, watching and enjoying, and we're going to talk about all the things about it. We're going to talk about the kids out there during recess. I don't have a clever one for that. We're just going to go with that for that one, all right? But we also got other ones. We got girls going over to 106 in Park for a little bit. Remember that show? That was a classic. And some other stuff. But if you want to hear what we have to say, sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the first ones to die.
Hey everyone, welcome to the First Ones to Die. My name is Jonathan. We're glad you're with us for another episode. I'm here with the wonderful, the lovely Alex and Jerome. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Both your smiles creep me out, guys. I want that to I want the audience to know what I had to deal with. Jerome, after he does his introduction, smiles for about 10 seconds, and then 10 seconds before Jonathan's introduction, he just sits there and smile, and I have to live with that every week. Every weekend, I have to see that. But other than that, I'm good. Nothing too exciting has happened this week, thankfully. So I've just been pretty chill. Just been watching random stuff. Thanks to our retrospect, I have fallen in love with a lot of old cartoons and found a lot of old cartoons that I've forgotten. And so it's actually been really nice and like really nostalgic. So I'm enjoying that lately.
Yeah, it's nice with streaming, especially that now we have all of the cartoons at our disposal.
This is the one time streaming has ever come in handy.
Yeah. Like
Whereas back in the day, you had to buy the DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, so many DVDs.
Or just hope it came on TV.
Right.
As we were discussing the PBS shows, those weren't on DVDs. Those you had to wait to you had to wait for the time and place, especially during the time. You were like, let them rerun my favorite episode. Let them rerun that one. So excited for that one. But so it's been nice trip down memory lane. How are you doing, Jerome? You bit sleepy?
I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm probably gonna re-record the intro. I don't know. I'm just so sleepy right now.
I think it was fine.
Although I did. It was supposed to be me and my dad, but he was also tired, so he did not come. So it was me and Ari. We saw John Wick 4 last night.
Ooh, how was it?
It was good. It was not as good as the first or second one for me. But better than the third one. I think it's just because I think there's, it's the fourth one. So at this point, the technicals and all that stuff is rock solid. They've got it down packed. Like they know how to place the cameras the right way, how to film the action. Keanu Reeves is a master at doing the choreo and the gunplay. So all that stuff is there. And even the new people, like Donnie Yen as the blind assassin, fantastic, Donnie Yen's just good in whatever he does. But as that specific character, they really utilize the idea that he's blind to his effectiveness. Although sometimes he's Daredevil for sure, where I'm like, there's no way you know that. There's no way you can just, because there's scenes where he'll point his gun and he'll be perfectly don't do that. And I'm like, how do you know that they're there?
He can hear their heartbeats
on that person. You put a gun in it, yeah. Also, Shamir Anderson, who plays a new character in the movie, is really good too.
I know also Rina Sawayama.
Yeah, Rina Sawayama is in the movie as well. She's fantastic. Which I didn't know that was her until after the movie was over, and I looked up the cast list, and I was like, "Oh, that's Rina Sawayama. Cool." And she did a fantastic job, even both in her action sequences and in her acting. She just was phenomenal. She gets a really great action sequence, especially. So it wasn't a thing where it's just a cameo of a pop star. She gets to do some work, and she's good at it. Yeah, I think overall it's like, it was pretty decent. The only issue I have is, and it's not so much Keanu Reeves' fault, it's more the fault of the character, that John Wick as a character has become such a pop culture staple now that his like broken dialogue is like how he talks the whole movie is so frustrating. You want to talk about what got the most laughs out of the entire audience the whole movie? That every time he opens his mouth to say a single word, even like in literally single words, because the first line he has in the movie is yeah, like that's how he says it. Everybody cracked up because they're like, oh my god, like this man and this dialogue is the only
Not the
enemy
group.
John Wick can't defeat is his dialogue because it's kicking his ass. But I'm sure that that's intentional because John like that's become a staple now is John Wick with his like really stilted and stoic way of speaking. But it feels almost cartoony here compared to the other movies where he just sounds still like a character. So that was the only thing that I was like, this is holding you back because you're the main character. It'd be one thing if you were just a side dude, like a side character, Joe Blow Nobody. You're the main character. We got to stick with you. And there are also and I think also because John Wick, the man survived some stuff in the movie where I was just like, look here, dog, listen, I know you're John Wick and all, but you're not God, okay? You should be dead.
Maybe he is.
There's no way. I'm like, I
It's
would
Keanu
rather
Reeves.
believe
I
that you
would
died
be
a long time
cool.
ago and these movies are just your fever dreams that are in your head while you die from like blood loss because there's
Have
no way.
you ever seen those photos of people finding of I think it's Ian McGregor as like Jesus because he's in the Star Wars robes and things, and people don't notice the difference and they'll like have him as looking like Jesus. I'd be okay with Keanu Reeves, like God looking like Keanu Reeves, if they want to put him in a human form.
That's beside the point. He's not God in this movie. All right. Your fan fiction aside, he is a man. He is a regular man, supposedly. Because like just to give you a slight example, it's like this man got hit by a car 2 times in John Wick 2. And I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. But only 2 times. And then after that, he went home, took a shower, got some rest, had a nice meal, probably, got to relax. He had enough time even to put some concrete over his like stuff in John Wick 2 and be like, I'm done killing for the day. Like, it was regular day. In this man gets hit with cars like 6 or 7 times, and then he just like gets up like it's like, all right, well, there's that. It's time to go back to fighting. I'm like, no, you are old. I can tell by the way you walk. All right, there's no way you can survive all of this abuse, and that's just cars. There are other stuff he does where I'm like, there's no way. You should be dead. At the very least, you should have a limp and internal bleeding.
It's actually very easy to get internal bleeding. I will agree with you on that.
That's what
Actually,
I'm saying.
very easy. But
But
how was
overall, though, still, if you enjoy John Wick, go watch John Wick 4. You'll enjoy it. It's the same. This is a lot of the same with some extra added, really cool characters. So,
Nice.
how about you, Jonathan? How was your week?
My week was good. It felt shorter than normal. As I was saying to Alex earlier, the rain has finally stopped in LA. I say that now, but who knows what next week will bring. Next week's supposed to be nice, so I'm thankful for that. On Tuesday, a day that it was thankfully not raining, but then it rained the next day. Uh, Me and some of my Stranger Things experience castmates went to Six Flags, which was so much fun.
I was saying I saw that and I mentioned the one in it's actually in Wisconsin or Michigan. The one in the Midwest is called Great America Zoo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because that's
yo,
very Midwestern.
you ever like you want to talk about old? I bet kids today don't even know about those commercials for Six
they probably
Flags.
don't. Yeah, with the man with the
Mm-hmm.
glasses.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but did you have fun? Or do the rides look as old as in our memories?
It was a lot of fun. We went, right now it's spring break and everything, so more people are going to things like Six Flags and other places like that. But it I don't know, maybe people are deterred from going to these types of places right now during their spring break because it's been raining so much. But thankfully the day we went it was nice and sunny. It was like 70 degrees. And the lines weren't too long for any of the rides. Um, I and we spent like the entire day there. I That was my first time going to Six Flags too, so um, it really is like the land of the roller coasters, and I enjoyed it. Like as a kid, I used to be intimidated by roller coasters, especially any that went in a loop. But then I went on my first loopy roller coaster, and I'm like, that was it. That was what I was so afraid of. So now I love a good roller coaster, and I've been craving going on a roller coaster. I guess since for a while. I guess Universal doesn't really have like roller coasters. Um,
No,
They
Universal
have
is
none
more
that
just
like.
like themed rides. Like it's just about like it's more about like the movies you're on the ride for rather than
I
like
mean,
the like ride itself, you know.
it's more of an
yeah,
experience and
they
Hmm.
don't
like
get the loop de
atmosphere.
loops.
Yeah, kind of like Disneyland in that way, where it's like you're there to experience your favorite things. You're there for the atmosphere, the experience, and the like adventure of it all, rather than the thrill of a roller
Than
coaster.
getting tossed
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Remember growing up, I didn't really like the roller coasters all the time, was because they used to tell me I had to take off my glasses. The glasses would fall off my
Mm.
face. They're like, you have to. So I'm like, well, no, I'm half blind. Like, I'm not going on something that's already going to be whipping me around blind. So I didn't like to go on. Now because I guess roller coasters aren't the way they used to be, I can keep my glasses on because I'm not getting tossed about.
So if you come
Or I
down here and we go
guess
to Six Flags, you're gonna have to take your glasses off because the first ride that we went on, there was only three of us, and there was a group of 12 by like midday. But we were like the first three had gotten there. We went on this,
Oh,
or
I
no,
was expecting a darker response to that. Like, there was only three of us, but unfortunately, that like once we left, there was only two. She
oh
learned her valuable
no,
lesson of
it's
why she
not.
should take her
It's
glasses off at the roller coaster.
no.
not that. Why would they? They just left her. She was blind. She couldn't find her way to the exit. They just left
Her
her. It's
eyes
fine.
got taken from her on the roller coaster at some way. I don't know. It's a
No,
cautionary tale why you should take your glasses off when you go to Six Flags.
we we there was three of us. Two more joined for this first ride that we went on, and then ultimately the group got bigger as the day progressed. But no, we didn't lose anybody. but but uh, so one of our friends in the group, he he had been there like a whole bunch, like growing up as a kid and everything. And he said, I asked like, hey, my pockets, is it all right if my phone and my wallet is in my pocket? And I was wearing kind of like loose pockets. And he's like, you might want to take them, keep them off. So I was able to put them in his bag. The first ride that we went on, called X2, literally you sit in the thing,
Like a reference to
and then
X Men, or just is it just called X2?
no,
Oh, okay.
the this is also the thing about Six Flags. It's all about the roller coaster. It's like this much the actual theming of it. They literally like sprinkle the theming in like it's like just an
Yeah.
aftertaste, because they have like Batman, their Wonder Woman ride, which is
Right,
new,
because
is
I was
really
gonna say,
cool
don't
though.
they have the Superman coaster?
Yes, that was
Okay.
closed when we were there,
Okay, gotcha.
but they have the one new Wonder Woman ride, and you're like riding on her lasso, and it's really cool. Um, but all the other rides, it's just like a sprinkle of the theming in there. But anyways, on X2, you sit in the thing, and then when you're ready to go, you lean back. And as soon as we lean back, I put all my other stuff in the bag, but I left my phone in for whatever reason. I just didn't want to like let go of my phone, I guess. As soon as we leaned back, I could feel my phone start to fall out of the
Oh
pocket.
no.
So I'm like, I'm like, oh shoot, I might be losing my phone on this ride. So I literally had to hold my thumb up against my pocket the entire time so my phone would not go flying out of it. And even then, the ride was so like intense. Thankfully, it was like short enough, but it was it was a jump start to the day. It was like we went up high, dropped like 90 degrees.
That's why you
So
gotta have like when you go to roller coaster parks, you have to have like
a fanny pack.
cargo pants where you can like put or you either have zippers or like Velcro pockets where you could like
Yeah.
It's
keep your
better to
pockets
have that
sealed.
designated friend who has that bag.
And that thankfully
They
that's
put
what we
him.
did. We did have
Yeah, you have the. I remember. Oh my god, I feel really old when I'm saying this. I remember when the Superman ride first opened at my Six Flags in Great America. And we went, and the person actually stopped me. They're like, "You have to take your glasses off. You can either like hold on to them or something, but they're like they're gonna fall off." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't really have a choice." So I got on the ride, took them off. I had to. I actually put them in my shirt, I think. And I was like, why? It's just a roller coaster. It actually tilts you upwards so you're flying like Superman. So my ass
Yeah.
was, yeah, face down. I was like, oh, I see why I would have lost my glasses immediately. Immediately, they would have just came off my face. And because I'm strapped in, I can't grab them. So I was like, all right, she's a real one.
See,
Like,
I remember I used to love the Looney Tunes world at the Six Flags where you can kind of hang out with the Looney Tunes. Those are always the best.
there's so many pictures of me with Tweety Bird.
no.
Speaking of cartoons, though, we're going to finally wrap up, which was an unintentional series. This was not planned, by the by. It just so happened to work out this way. Where we're finishing out our cartoon retrospective series, which hasn't really been very retrospective, admittedly. I've been re-listening to the old episodes. Really, we've just been talking about the cartoons we picked, but not the channels themselves. But you know what? Maybe we'll do like a part 2 or something, and we'll do a full play-by-play. Because I only mentioned that because I'm like, man, we didn't talk about Adult Swim or Toonami for Cartoon Network. We didn't talk about Nick Jr. or Nick at Night for Nickelodeon.
Oh, you know what popped up really quick? You know what popped up on my TikTok for Nick Jr.? It was Face. Do you guys remember Face?
Oh yeah, the character that would come on in between commercials and stuff.
Oh, Jerome, you're too young then. Yeah, Face. He would take over the whole screen and he would just change colors randomly.
Mm-hmm.
I used to
No, the
listen to
special thing I remember about Nickelodeon, and I'll never forget the day, is well, not the specific date, but just they celebrate the day of it's the day of play, where Nickelodeon would be like, we are not showing any programming today. Today is a day for kids to go outside. And I was like, damn, outside! I'm trying to watch some Invader Zim right now. Put Invader Zim on.
Or okay,
I
now
didn't have
Disney
that.
Channel's getting my view. All right, you
Yeah.
gonna force me to play? I'm playing. I'm hitting play on Disney Channel. Okay,
Right,
See,
I'm going to
I got
Cartoon Network
lucky.
right now.
I got lucky. That was after me. So like I got everyday cartoons, and then after I started like slowing down and moving more towards Disney Channel, like their shows, that's when they started integrating play of day of play or whatever, and I didn't have to deal with it.
Worldwide Day of Play.
Yeah, I just remember that. I that was the first and only time I ever heard of that was when Nickelodeon didn't do any broadcasting and was like, "Hey, you gonna go out there and go outside and enjoy the day?" And I'm like, "And this is what video games are for: change input. Like, I'll show you play. I'm playing some video games right now. Right? I'm not going outside. It's hot outside. It's South Carolina. It's 130 goddamn degrees outside.
I know
And that's
it would
only
always be during the summer.
Right. Oh, you understand, all right? It's 130, feels like 200 out there thanks to the humidity. I'm not going outside.
Oh,
Right.
I never thought about humidity's gross. Anyway, go on.
But today we're talking about Disney Channel. We're wrapping things up. Well, not necessarily Disney Channel specifically, but Disney in general, of all the cartoons they have had over the years. Most of these, I think, aired on Disney Channel first, though. If not Disney XD, which became their cartoon channel. But so we're if you have, it's your first time tuning in to the cartoon retrospective episodes we've done so far, what we've done is each of us have picked a series of episodes, and we're going to talk about them, and we're also going to mention like which episodes we picked, so that you, the audience, if you want to pause this, go watch an episode real quick and come back, you can know exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, firstly, here's a question. Just start it off though before we get into the episodes we picked. Did anyone prefer Disney cartoons, like Disney cartoons, to watch over Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network when they're growing up?
My order probably went Nicktoons in terms of the cartoon content. Nicktoons, Disney Channel, and then Cartoon Network. Although Cartoon Network and Disney Channel might be on the same level, but it was always Nicktoons first for me. No question.
Mine was depending on the day. Because I swear to God, I only watched Disney Channel cartoon or Disney cartoons at the weirdest times at night. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
ended up Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, the
Yep.
Barbarian, even like Phineas and
Honorable
Ferb.
mentions
Yeah,
that we didn't
even
choose,
Phineas and
but
Ferb, which was chosen, I would watch at like midnight or something, really early in the morning. My like daytime cartoon was Nickelodeon, and then my like evening or afternoon was like Cartoon Network. So mine was a throughout the day or like when my mood was changing. That's where I stood on that.
See, I was always Cartoon Network and then Nickelodeon above Disney Channel, but that's mainly because in my mind, Disney Channel was where I went for live action shows. Like if I wanted to watch That's
Yeah.
So Raven, Even Stevens, um, Phil the Future, or not Naked Brothers Band, but the Jonas Brothers, like all of that stuff. I would watch that on Disney
See,
Channel.
I liked Big Time Rush over Nick Jonas's brother. I just thought that
Yeah,
was
Nick
better.
Jonas's brother.
Whatever. Not Nick Jonas. I was thinking,
the
my
Jonas Brothers
brain is
Band.
mush. Jerome may have been the one that had just woken up, but I'm like, my brain's all muddled.
But it's like I think I watched Disney cartoons a lot, but I would often not. It just didn't never connect. Also, none of us picked Buzz Lightyear, which I just remembered was one I could have picked too. Was Buzz Lightyear Star Command?
I never watched Buzz
Uh,
Lightyear Star Command. I didn't even know it
Same.
existed until you said it.
yeah, that was one of my
I knew it
favorites
existed, but I never
too.
watched it.
It
It was
was the
one of like the
same
earlier ones.
yeah, same as like Emperor's New School or whatever. It's like in that same vein of like, hey, you know what? We got a property that we're not using that we're not gonna make more movies of. That's for sure. Let's make it into a TV show. See if people like it.
Or like Lilo and Stitch, the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lloyd of the Future, or Lloyd in Space. Is it
Oh,
Lloyd in
oh,
Space?
oh yeah, Lloyd in Space.
Lloyd
Mm-hmm.
in Space. I
I
think
remember
a
that.
lot of the cartoons I used to watch were so weird times because Disney Channel was such a live action show during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so I would watch those during the day, but then at nighttime is when they started showing the cartoons. Basically, after their Disney Channel original movie, that's when
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
cartoons started.
I know. In the middle of the night, they would always show the Disney Channel original movie at like 2 a.m. And before and after that, it would always be the random cartoons or whatever that they would show as well.
Yeah, the
It's
Yeah.
like,
stuff they
who
don't
is
want.
this
They're
for?
like, whatever. Because it's like
People
TV
like
got
me.
weird. TV got weird when it was like, 24-hour, like broadcasting, because there was a time where like back in our parents' day where it's like TV went off, like after a while there were no shows to watch. They were just like they would always play like the national anthem or something, and then they'd be like, all right, and good night and good luck, and then it would just be color bars because they're like, yeah, it's over, you should be in bed right now, you should not be watching TV. But then
If you
24
want a reference to
hour
that, you should watch Poltergeist. They show that part of
oh
how
yeah,
the TV
yeah.
turns off. So go watch Poltergeist, children.
Children do not watch this show for the last time. Anyway, so it's like but then it's like you had the 24-hour news cycle, and then follow behind that you had like 24-hour broadcasting in general. And so now it's like all the cartoon channels that are for like kids, they didn't know what to show, but they figured it out. Nickelodeon had Nick at Night.
Mhm.
Cartoon Network had Adult Swim, because which I think worked out the best, probably because Cartoon Network's like, look, all cartoons are welcome here. In the daytime, kid cartoons. At nighttime, after about like 9 p.m., when kids should be asleep, adult cartoons. All the cartoons are welcome on Cartoon Network. Even anime on Saturdays when Toonami's on, it's on. And Disney's response was, you know what? I mean, we're all kid friendly all the time because we're Disney. I don't know, screw it. Just throw some random movies in there and random cartoons. The
Which
kids are up; they
what
got something to
well
watch.
Right. And in that similar vein, the movies that they would show in the movies and TV shows that they would show in the middle of the night would usually be reruns of older stuff. So
Mhm.
if you're watching and you're a bit older or you're an adult, you can be like, "Oh, hey, I remember this movie. Let's watch this movie again." So I guess that kind of factored into their reasoning as well. There is a YouTube channel called Defunct Land. They about a month ago put out a video about the Disney Channel theme, the dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And it is like an hour and a half long documentary chronicling who wrote that theme. And you know how all the people do the "Hi, I'm Jonathan and you're watching Disney Channel." Duh, 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 duh. It is fascinating. Right. It is fascinating. It's emotional. I encourage
It's emotional.
anyone. It is.
I'm gonna.
It gets like
Jonathan,
emotional by the end.
I feel like it's emotional because I feel like in your head you're like, I missed my time. I was supposed to be on Disney Channel and say,
Wait.
"Hi, I'm Jonathan Keys from so and so, and then you're watching Disney Channel."
No.
Just making those big Disney ears with the lightsaber and everything.
If you watch it, you will get emotional. Like because they go into. I can't explain it. Just watch it. It's called Defunct Land. But it's.
I got it.
An amazing.
What Disney show would you have been in if you got a chance? Or what show would you have wanted to be in? Live action show or animated when you were a kid?
Probably. Well, I remember on That's So Raven, they had the kid that is in the episode, the musical episode. He plays the hall monitor. If anybody remembers this episode.
I remember the episode. I don't remember all the characters in it, except for I remember Chelsea's number. She's the only Chelsea and Orlando Brown. Those are the two musical numbers I remember from the episode where he's got the basketball and stuff. And I'm like, High School Musical calls. They want their routine back.
No, but that was the funny thing is that was before High School Musical.
I know, but still, I'm just like, you're never gonna beat them now.
But that kid who played the hall monitor, I vividly remember they did like a whole open call for that role, and they advertised it on Disney Channel like, "Hey, be in an episode of That's So Raven." And they did like a whole open call and everything, and like they filmed it, like the process and everything. And so the reason that kid is in that episode is because he was a part of that process. So I'm like, if I could have been that kid,
you could have gotten it.
Yeah, but.
They used to do a lot of those because they would do. I remember Kung Fu Panda did the same thing. They're like, "Hey, if you call into this number, you enter for a chance to be a role in Kung Fu Panda," which you don't know when you're a kid. You're just like, "Oh, cool! I could be in a movie." You don't think about you're gonna be like extra number 38. Your voice is gonna be in a sea of other thousands of voices
in a crowd. Yes,
right. Like you're not gonna be important.
There's a chance they're just gonna cut you anyway.
Right, because I remember the only one I ever tried to do is when Ben 10, they were doing a live action movie of Ben 10, where he was like a teenager as opposed to a kid, and they were like, "Yeah, enter for a chance to win Kevin's car," and it was like a Dodge Charger car, and I was like, "Oh yeah, definitely, I'm calling in for that." But granted, I was like 14 at the time, so I'm like, even if I call, what am I gonna do with this car? I'm not gonna I'm not gonna
hold on to it.
Right.
But it's wait a couple of years, I could drive a cool Dodge Charger that was in a movie, or at least looks like a car that was in the movie. And
but what they didn't tell you in fine print was you have to be 18 to enter.
You know what? Funny, I did not look at the rules. I probably did need to be 18 to be in the competition, but I didn't care. I was like, cool car. I want to get a car for free. Right. I did not win though, so it didn't matter.
Surprise.
Well, should we get into some of our shows?
Yeah, I want to start with the Proud family. Proud.
All right, the Proud and which episode?
Really quick, what my favorite thing about this whole retrospective series?
What?
I have gotten to hear the two of you sing more than I've ever heard in our entire years of friendship, and I feel super happy. I feel like I've been blessed for that.
So it was season 1. I put it wrong in the message, but it was season 1, episode 19, Hip Hop Helicopter. That was the Proud Family episode.
Yes.
Jerome, your thoughts?
Oh man, it was great. It reminded this episode for me reminded me definitely of like how many celebrities get put into Proud Family, because Big Boy is played by Big Boy, the not the rapper Big Boy and from
The
Outkast, but
radio
the
host.
radio host,
Yeah.
radio show host Big Boy. And because as soon as he's like, "It's Big Boy," I was like, "Yo, that's Big Boy. That has to be." And that was him. And I'm like, that's
But
kind of cool.
now he's like skinny. Like in real life, he's skinny.
Yeah, in real life he's lost some weight, but he really is like it was one of those things where you want to have a fun day audience. Just look at all the guest stars the Proud Family has ever had, like the original show, but and also the new show now too, I guess. But the original show has just a long list of guest stars that have appeared on the show, but most of them being black, like all of them being black actors. Most I don't think there's very many that are like not black actors, but it's because no other black show was on. Like Disney, I will give Disney that. They are the only ones that made a black centric cartoon that's about black culture. It's not just we just have black people in our show. Like, no, this show's about black people and about hip hop culture, about black culture. It's just in there. And so there was a lot of guest stars that were black actors, black performers, musicians, personalities, all types of people
And
that
Sean
guest starred on the
Robinson
show.
from Access Hollywood, she was in the episode too.
Yeah, so it's just like this is, and they just get a whole scene to themselves. It is not important to the plot at all. They just get a whole scene where they just get to riff, basically, where Big Boy's trying to run some game. But it's like that's real. Like I remember watching 106 in Park, and this is, I guess, this Proud Family is Universe's version of 106 in Park. But I remember watching it. I didn't really like 106 in Park that much when I was a kid.
You gotta give a little explanation of it because people are not gonna know what you're talking about, man.
That's true.
It has been some years.
So for those who don't know, if you're very young, 106 in Park used to be a show on BET that came on around like that afternoon time, just after when all the kids get off school, basically, where they would show music videos, have musical guests come by and talk about music, talk about their music videos. Sometimes just do interviews, just to be like, yeah, I'm Usher, and ask me some questions, whatever. And it was a really, yeah, I mean, it was just a cool show for you to get in the know of your favorite music artists at that time, but black music artists, because BET. It's no different than like TRL or if you're really old, like it was the modern day Soul Train at the time. Like
I was literally just thinking that. I'm like, oh, it's like, yeah. I was like, if anybody needs some context, it's just a black TRL.
Yeah, like that's basically what it was. And so this is Hip Hop Helicopter, which is a pretty cool name, by the way, of like a TV show that is like a hip hop.
And then after they won, they flew away in the actual
helicopters.
Their trophies had little helicopters on them too.
This is how you could tell the animation budget was not where it needed to be, because they're dancing. I was like, what is this? Like, they're doing the same moves over and over, even down to the point where when in the next scene, when they go to that party, Penny's like, yeah, let's dance. And she's doing the same routine. And I'm like,
in all fairness, if you just look at any Disney Channel live action or not, their dancing is terrible. There's like this one TikToker I follow. He's a funny guy. He does the moves, but without the music and everything. And it's like, yeah, they do move weirdly. Why are they doing that?
And when they go to the party and they show like the crowd of people that's dancing, there's one girl who's literally there twice. I see her in the same shot. Like, right, there's one girl in there twice. So yeah, that's.
I love the background actors or cartoons dancing.
The animation for the new show, I really like.
Me too. I like the animation for the new show. It was cool to see Michael, like old school Michael,
right?
Before, like, because get some context for how he is in the new show. Which in the new show, he's is he just like I know he's how his design is very reminiscent of like people of the LGBT community. But did they ever establish what his like gender or sexuality
I
is?
I think in the new show he's like gender non-conforming.
Okay, gotcha.
But or maybe he yeah, gender non-conforming, but like still goes by like he him.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, I wasn't sure if the show was gonna go to the links to like define it for sure. Because Proud Family was one of the few shows I would expect to maybe do that. Only because like this episode in particular too, it's like this show it always did a great job of having those serious topics that a black family would talk about, but without being so explicit about it. Because this episode is really about like middle school girls dressing a little too old for their age, and then they go to a high school party, and of course all the high school boys, like because these girls look older based off of how they're dressed or whatever, they're trying to holler, but they're not thinking about them as people. They're just like, nah, you're a girl and you're scantily clad and whatever, and that's what they're thinking in their mind. And but the show never explicitly says that, which is good because it's like for kids. Like, you don't want to be so blunt.
They do have that moment of like innocence where Dejanay was like, "These boys only act like they want one thing," and she pauses. She's like, "And I don't know what that one thing is." So it kind of shows that they show their innocence there. Where like, I don't know what's going on, but like I know it's not good.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know what that is, but we're not doing it. So
yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah, there's that innocence there that they do show, but in a non like dramatic way either. She's like, I just know something's not right.
Although Zoe knows her white privilege, she's already like seen it in the play. She's like, "No, you don't understand the power." No,
yeah, she really didn't want to let that go.
That like part where Zoe's like, "No, y'all can leave. I want to get my freak on." But there's an episode in the new series. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you're caught up on the new series, Jerome. But there's an episode in the second season where there's this like famous actor that comes to the school and he's black and he goes after Zoe, and like the rest of the crew, they're like, "Oh yeah, he only dates white girls." And that's like the plot of the episode.
I mean, listen, Zoe is going to end up with a black man. Okay, like that's destined. Like she's grown up with nothing but black people, like with black girls her entire life. She don't know nothing else. All the dudes she's ever hung out with are black dudes. She is gonna end up with a black dude. She is black at heart. She might be white skinned on the outside, but on the inside, she just light skinned because she's still a little white. But she's got some melanin underneath the surface. she's got some spice to her.
And ginger is a spice.
Also, that is like a little off topic, but it's true. There is a thing about redheads with black dudes. I don't know what it is. Black guys like out of all the white girls, black dudes like redheads are the ones. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
That's fine.
I have nothing to say to that.
I'm just saying it's true. I've seen a lot of black dudes. The white girl they've dated, or if they're not dating them now, or they marry, are redheads.
It's not that I disagree with you. I just don't know how to. I don't know where to go off from that comment.
So but Zoe will be all right. She'll be okay. She's in good company. Penny cute. Like plus, if you saw in the new show the episode where they go to college, Zoe glows up like.
Like go to college in the new show, or is it like
there's
there's like there's in I think it's the first season. There's an episode where like they flash forward or something.
Yeah, where Penny wants to grow up. She wants to like.
Oh yeah, the Al Roker.
Yeah, she wants to fast forward to when they're older, and so she
Hold
does,
on,
and so they're
hold
in
on.
college.
Just the fact that you're explaining it, and all of a sudden John goes like the Al Roker, like
But
that's supposed to
that's
help
how she
make sense.
does it. She makes a wish with Al Roker.
Okay. Oh, thank
He
you,
grants
thank
her
you for that
the
context and explaining it to me. That she simply makes a wish with Al Roker. Okay, I'm caught up. Go on. I'm good.
But yeah, but they all of them are in college, and it's like you get to see all of them as older. Penny, Dejanay, La Cienega, like all of them. And Zoe is the one who like looks 210% different. She looks nothing like herself. She doesn't even sound like herself. It's a new voice actor. And she's like, she goes from sounding like Zoe to being like, come on, Penny, we have to go to college. And I'm like, who the hell is this person? This is not Zoe.
They got like a British person.
Yeah, she's like got a British accent now. She got no braces. She's like gorgeous. And they're like, they even comment on it. They're like, dang girl, you glowed up.
Still
But-
not getting over the Al Roker thing. But go on.
But it's but yeah, it was good to watch this episode again. Audience for those who want to know. Did you already say?
Yeah.
I said that, but say, you can say it again if you want.
But yeah, it's like Proud Family season 1 episode 19, Hip Hop Helicopter. Check it out. Also good to hear like the B plot too is pretty funny. Of just like
the
him
bowling.
trying to beat Sugar Mama. Yeah.
Him and Sugar Mama.
Although
And
Trudy
I
ain't right
could've-
though. She paid for them to throw the game. Like, you know what I mean?
No, she was trying to protect her husband's ego. All right,
Mhm.
sometimes you got to do what you got to
And-
do for your man.
But what's worse, hearing him complain all the time that he can't win, or hearing him brag all the time
That he
about
won.
winning?
Right. You know what I mean?
At least one ends up with him not crying, hopefully. Although with
Mhm.
Oscar, I don't know. You know what show I was surprised that I didn't enjoy as I thought I would? Enjoy as much as I thought I would?
Is it American Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really that was the show that I was surprised that I did enjoy.
My brain wandered. I ended up like doing my dishes while the show was just playing. Cause I had my phone up, so I was like watching while doing stuff, and I ended up barely watching that episode, which I was surprised because I remember absolutely loving it. And just like my brain was like, yeah, it's okay.
Well, you know what
Although
it is? It might be that you may enjoy when it came back because it only has 2 seasons, but the second season they like completely overhauled the show. They did a new art style, new like way of like how like action was different, the writing style was different, like the whole show had basically changed.
No, I remember
second
that, and I
season.
remember them changing everything too. But I still
Mhm.
enjoyed both seasons. I remember enjoying it when it started and everything. But this time I was just like, this time around I was like, it's okay. I will say they did make the black girl like a little bit offensive because she was like using all this like she was like, you need to get your love on rap, and I'm like, what? Why would you even say that?
She is in the show. It's very much a depiction, a like stereotypical like sassy black girl best friend.
Yeah, she's very much like, boy, you ain't gonna do that to me. Like that is her
Mhm.
attitude the entire time.
And then their stoner best friend. She's like, you need some brain cells to wake up, and he's like, nope, they're cute when they're sleeping. It's like, you are like 12, sir. You should not be acting this way.
They're all stereotypes except Jake.
Well, Jake, I had forgotten because I barely watched American Dragon as a kid, but I had forgotten that he was so. Yo, what's up? Yeah, we doing it.
Yeah, me too. I honestly forgot about that. And then as I was watching the show, I was just cringing the entire time. I'm like, no.
I think that's why my brain said, why? It
no.
was very cringy. It was very cringy.
Well, especially because he wants to.
believe-
He's like, trying to get with this white girl. Just. I mean, granted, I get it. I mean, like you look at all the character designs for all of the kids in this school, and I'm like, oh, the rest of y'all are definitely in high school. That's a grown woman. There's no way you're gonna convince me otherwise. The way y'all draw her like she is very much an adult.
I did like their storyline of like how she was part of the like hunters group.
Yeah, I forget what I don't ask me any of the like enemy names or anything because I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I didn't remember, but I always liked that plot line where she was part of that, and that was cute, like a Romeo and Juliet type of deal going on. I always
I,
appreciate
d-
that.
I did like the fact that they were rehearsing for a play that mimicked the situation that they were in, like the two people who are on enemy
Yeah,
side.
Cleopatra and Antony.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember how
And
their
is
story
she?
ended. Yeah.
Yeah. So is she? Is she a recurring character or like a character throughout the series or a
Yeah,
main
she's
character?
his main love interest throughout the
But they
series.
don't realize that they're like enemies.
I think they do eventually find out that
No,
they're enemies.
I remember this clearly after watching some of it. They do realize it. She tries to side with him and stop kind of the hunt for the dragons from the inside. And there's something that happens, either a magical wish or something, where he's like, "Oh, I can get rid of my dragon powers, or I can just wish for her to have a normal life because she's constantly in danger for no reason." So he wishes for her to have a normal life with her parents because she was living with her uncle at the time, and that's who was training her to be like a hunter. And so he gives up that wish for that. But the only problem is she now has no idea who he is or anything they shared. So he's like, well, I can't interfere with her life anymore because like I'm a dragon and like she can finally have like a normal life.
Yo,
That
Spider-Man
is
No
it.
Way Home stole that ending.
Oh yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
The original idea, my ass.
Have you ever seen those TikToks where people are like comparing two movies that are exactly the same? There was one recently. He's like, "Hey, show me a movie where these people have different abilities. One can control plants, the other one can shapeshift and things like that." And the guy's like, "I got you. It's Encanto." He's like, "Right, right. Play Sky High."
And you guys know who the voice actor was of the teacher?
No.
Macy Gray.
Ah,
Really?
interesting.
Yeah. I was like, I recognize her voice, and I just looked it up to confirm, and it was.
I feel like she was in a lot
she
more cartoons than I think she was.
she was also Trixie's grandmother, because I'm like, her voice sounds the same too. Like in the same episode, she played the teacher. I'm like, so for a second, I was like, is the teacher her grandma? But no, they were two different characters, but both played by Macy Gray.
Gotcha. Although I also love when Rose is like, "Well, we could go to your place, my place," and like he immediately knows what's gonna happen. His little sister's gonna make fun of him the entire time. His mom is ready to just be like, "Oh, you guys are together, pictures," and his dad's like, "Ah, great, son, yeah, but all right, maybe it's time we have the talk." It's like, we're not even together. What do you mean have the talk? What do you think? I'm just knocking them down left and right like I'm a goddamn like
You've seen
like
me.
lumberjack.
You've seen
know
who
what I mean?
my friends are.
Right. It's like, it's not like that, Dad. Come on now. Also, audience, just so you can follow along, the episode we're talking about is American Dragon Jake Long, season 1, episode 5, entitled Act 4, scene 15. So
I think the American Dragon was the only one who had like an episode, like a full on episode. It didn't like split halfway through, right? Or
no,
was
Kim Possible.
No, Kim Possible too.
Oh yeah, Kim Possible.
And Phineas. Oh no, Phineas and Ferb had a minute.
Oh, and Proud Family.
Yeah.
And Proud Family.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. I guess just the ones that were slightly older had like the fuller episodes, because before that it was a lot of like split ones. And I felt, or maybe it is Disney Channel who doesn't really do that, because I was like, oh, this story's going on for a minute. Because all the other cartoons we've been watching, yeah.
Depends on the
and
cartoon.
Jackie Chan Adventures didn't do that, but
Yeah. So maybe it was like anything affiliated with Disney.
Yeah.
But moving on to Kim Possible. Like, how'd you guys like Kim Possible? I mean, I used to love Kim Possible when I was a kid. So, and I remember watching every episode up until the movie. And then after the movie, I don't know. I think in my mind, I thought the show was over after the like the big movie when like Ron and Kim get together and all that stuff. And I was like, and the show's over. There's we don't need to watch anymore, right? I mean, we're at the point. We're at the precipice. Okay, we're at where it needs to end. Ron and Kim end up together. They continue having adventures. That's it.
I remember watching a couple episodes afterwards, and it was actually really cute because like Ron would do something, and she's like, "You're my boyfriend." He's like, "I know. I just like hearing it." I was like, "Aw, that's actually really cute."
Kim Possible for me was one of the late night 1 a.m. ones where if I was like over my granny's and cousin's house, and my mom would pick me up at 1 a.m. or whatever, that would be on. So I remember a lot of like scenes from the show, but I don't remember a lot of complete episodes. I can name a lot of the cast that was on it. You know, you got what's her name?
I can remember the cast.
Eva Stevens, Ren, what's her name?
Christy something.
Christy Carlson Romano. Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Christy
Because I knew it was
Carlson.
like I knew Romano was in there, but I'm like, I
Reading.
feel like there's an extra part in there.
Yeah. Which she does a lot of like podcasts and stuff where she'll talk to former Disney people, former Nickelodeon people. She's
doing great nowadays.
Yeah.
Where she's doing a lot of like great interviews with like Devin Werkheiser and other like old stars. I don't think we'll ever get an episode of her talking to Shia LaBeouf. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No.
Ever.
She did do a YouTube video that I saw once where she talked about why she doesn't talk to Shia LaBeouf anymore, and it wasn't anything like salacious or like
it's probably because they weren't really friends. Like by the time when they were doing the show together, she was a teenager and he was like about probably like preteen, or not preteen, but like that early teenager age.
They were a few years apart.
So they were enough years apart. She probably was like, "That's my coworker," but like we're not like friends. Like
right. But you had Will Friedle, who played Ron Stoppable from Boy Meets World. You had Xenon, I forget her name, who played the mean girl. You had Raven Simone. Bonnie. You had Raven Simone that played Monica. What's her name?
Yeah, I think it was Monica. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I would have picked the episode where she gets to be. You ever see like there's an episode where she goes on mission?
Oh, where the friend is?
Yeah, because her and Ron had like a fight or something. It's where her and Ron had like a fight or something, or Ron couldn't go on a mission, so she's like, "Fine, I'll take her." Most of the episode, she's like, "No."
Yeah, well, she goes and then she's like, "Girl, you need to get Ron because I am too black for this. I ain't doing it. Like I'm not going on."
It's like, okay, we're just gonna jump like 500 feet or something. What? No, absolutely not. Where are your parents? Who's allowing you to do this?
It was Monique, not Monica.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up who played Shigo.
Shigo was Nicole Sullivan.
Nicole. She was always my favorite character in Kim Possible.
I believe that.
Favorite bad guy. Like I was like, Shigo's the coolest. She's actually capable. She's got really cool powers, even though they're not really well defined. Her powers are just cool. And I love all the episodes whenever they get to dive into Shigo a little bit. Plus, she's always the more practical one. Like even in this episode, she's like, "Yeah, we should probably find the manual." He's like, "We don't need no dang manual. I got this." It's like she's like, "Clearly, you do not got this, and I don't got it either. Where's the manual?"
I love how she's so focused on the fish. Where did the fish go? He's like, "What? When you suck up all the water, what happens to the fish in the water?" Like that was her main concern. I love the episode with Shigo where they reveal where she actually comes from.
Yeah,
she's part of the whole rainbow. Team Go. Yeah, it's a whole rainbow family. She's like, "These are my brothers,"
and they're all heroes except her. Like she's the only one that went villain.
They were a part of the rainbow team basically because they were all different colors. One was Veto.
No. I like because I was gonna pick one of the episodes, but I was like, I didn't know it was a 3-parter because I thought it was one episode. Was the past, present, future, triple, like 3-parter episodes where Shigo takes over as a villain in the future. And she's like, yeah, I kind of just nixed Draken and figured out, you know what? I'm probably better at this than he is. And so she takes over and she's effective and enslaves Draken and like makes the future terrible. And I'm like, all right, Shigo, rock on. I mean, he's still gonna stop her, but still, I love Shigo so much. He's just one of the coolest villains in that show, and just one of the coolest cartoon villains ever.
That kind of reminds me of jumping over to already a new show where I'm happy. I will say really quick, Kim Possible, I do her little communicator. That is my text tone.
Oh,
so I do like the
you and a lot of other people. That became like one of the most popular sound. I'm sure when
it's
cell phones you could download like. Remember the old commercials and they're like, dial text this number to get like all these sound effects on your phone.
Jeez, you just unlocked the memory. I forgot about those.
I remember that's how you would get like ringtones.
I would do the one where you record it and you have this terrible Cheddar. You would record it. I just try to give his butt off. And then put it in. So it would be this terrible version of a song you would have as your ringtone. But my sister has the communicator for Star Trek, which would have been the one I would have gotten. So I had to choose the next best one, which was the Kim Possible one.
By the way, audience, the episode is season 2, episode 7, Job Unfair.
And what I was going to jump to was the Phineas and Ferb movie where Candace goes back, or older Candace goes back in time and actually busts Phineas and Ferb, and then they get to the future and it's Doofenshmirtz has like control over everything. That just reminded me of that.
Was that the one that was released like a couple years ago?
I think so.
Because I know they just released one on Disney Plus recently. Like
no.
Like long after the series ended.
No, this was like in the middle. This was the original like first movie where I don't know if they did time travel or something pulled them into the future. I just remember the big joke was that like they met Isabella as an adult and she's like, they're like, oh yeah, her last name was Phineas and Ferb's last name. I don't know what their last name was. And she's like, do you hear that? I married Phineas. And Candace is like, or you married Ferb. Can I help you? Is there like something?
Cheddar is just like, he's like, I'm not leaving.
I'm gonna put you down there. He's really just like right here.
Is
just pacing
back and forth in front of the camera.
He's like I'm like there's plenty like I literally have cleared off space on my desk for him to like sit, and this motherfucker just keeps walking back and forth. It's like you can sit down and I will pet you, but like knock it off. Yeah, it just reminded me of that, and I thought that was such an interesting concept. Well, I love time travel, as I've said many times before. And I was like, that's such an interesting concept because when she finally does bust them. And the future is all bleak and horrible because they don't have these two greatest minds. And Doofenshmirtz finally got like control of the future, and everything's like child banned and locked away. Like at like 5 years old, your child's put in like a secure pod until they're adults. It actually got a little disturbing now that I think of it.
Well, what's funny is that was their movie because they already did an episode of that where Candace busts them, and they then get sent to like a military type camp for like kids who have too much imagination and it basically tries to suppress their imagination, and Candace feels bad, and then I think she does something time travel related to fix it. I can't remember that episode, or they like erase her mom's memory or something. I don't know. Cheddar's like, look, I'm gonna show it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Come on, I know we're not child friendly, but we're not like there.
The episode, I enjoyed the episode. It was season 2, episode 30, The Secret of Success.
Yeah, Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
Now, Phineas and Ferb is an interesting one because I remember when that show came out, I remember being like, this is a weird, different show for sure for Disney, because Disney like Alex was saying, a lot of them were more of the like story based shows is what they liked to have. Even the shows that were like random cartoons where it was like where it was more episodic than having like a story arc, you could tell that Disney, that's what they wanted. They wanted more story content and stuff that could be stick around long enough for them to make toys and everything. Phineas and Ferb, to me anyway, it felt like one of the first ones where it was like it's random, like, and it's not a cheap cartoon like the Emperor's New School or Buzz Lightyear or
I really like
Tarzan.
that.
They are cheap cartoons. I don't care what you say.
Dare you? How
Like
dare
those
you?
are,
They had fluid
those are-
movement.
They're very cash grab cartoons where they're like, we want to bank off of the popularity of this other property. This one was like, no, we're gonna put some money behind it. We're gonna have some music every episode. Every episode, there's a jam in there, even if it doesn't necessarily need it.
I love that the one where they're trying to get I forgot nope. The band back together. They sing all those songs. Like that was some of the best. It was like one of the best episodes.
What I appreciate about Disney Channel shows in general, not just the cartoons, is that for the most part, the formula is the same. Now there are some shows that stray from this concept, but I have a secret and nobody can know my secret. For what reason? I don't know, but nobody can know my secret. And
with all credit to Phineas and Ferb, they never kept anything a secret. The mom
true.
asked, "What did you do today?"
It just happens to work out that whatever they built or made either gets destroyed or bought or just sold or taken or just disappears miraculously.
Right, like in this episode, they build the world's tallest building reaching up to the moon, and it gets swept away because Doofenshmirtz is rotating the moon. And so the mom's like, "Oh, it's gone." And like, I really love how it's in the second
the physics of that does not work. All right, it would take the top of the building off. It would not take the whole thing, unless they bolted it to the moon.
I'm sorry. Don't you usually yell at me almost every episode? Alex, it's a cartoon. It doesn't need to make sense.
No, it depends on the cartoon. And in this case, Phineas and Ferb, they want to be all scientific and stuff.
You went Chum.
Just wagging the tail.
Yeah, that's what I think. Go ahead, let it shake. Yeah, prove my point.
But if you think about it, it's true with most of these shows. American Dragon, Jake Long, Secret Dragon, Kim Possible, Secret Superhero. That's so Raven, Secret Sidekick.
Is Kim Possible a secret superhero? I've always felt like everybody does know. It's just the fact that because everyone knows, they don't really talk about it. Because no one ever gets surprised whenever the episodes when like for example, there's an episode where Bonnie goes on a mission with Kim, and she is not the least bit surprised that Kim is a super spy. She's just like, yeah, whatever.
She's not necessarily a spy, is she? Wasn't her website? Was it an episode? I think it might have been a 3-parter. Because there is another part of time traveling in that show. I think it was a special episode or something, where she goes back and shows that she was actually setting up a babysitting website.
Well, there's an episode that's just it just explains the origin story. So they don't go back in time as much as it's just you just see how she got started.
No. She's literally back in time. I think that I'm mixing up the origin story episode with there is an actual episode where she goes back in time and you see her meet like Ron too. How they became best friends.
That's how Shigo takes over the world. Is she goes back in time and makes it so that Ron and Kim never stayed together, and so Kim never became Kim Possible as you know her. That's right.
Regardless, Hannah Montana, Secret Pop Star, Wizards of Waverly Place, Secret Wizards, and the list probably goes on.
Raven,
Secret
being able to see the future. Yeah. I mean, Lizzie McGuire didn't have a secret.
She hid those pants from her mom on picture day, and then she ruined them.
Nor did Penny Proud, but Penny doesn't have.
She had a secret in this episode.
Penny's secrets are the secrets that all kids have. Okay, it's just like, oh yeah, I wore this outfit that one time.
But the point is, she had a secret.
Secret.
Disney Channel, totally cool with hiding things from parents. You know why? Because the parents find out the secret and then they die and they're never seen from again. That's why.
Oh my goodness.
Disney has enjoyed killing off parents, especially mothers, but it seems like every show that has like holding the secrets, there's two. It's always a 2-parent household. So clearly, the kids should not share with the parents in Disney.
Well, I'm pretty sure in all of these shows, the parents know about the secret. The parents knew about the secret.
No, American Dragon, Jake Long, his dad didn't know. It was passed down. It skipped a generation that everybody became a dragon, but the dad didn't actually know. And there's a whole special episode where, ironically, Jake goes back in time and tells his dad that like the mom is part dragon or comes from a family of dragons, and they end up breaking up and he doesn't exist. There's a lot of time travel in these shows too.
Well, because that's what you do. Like, eventually you run out of ideas and you're like, man, screw it. Go back in time.
Everybody's just going back in time. I mean, I would if I could.
I
don't know if I would.
Speaking of going back in time, to the time of the Emperor's New Groove, but it's the show.
Listen,
the Emperor's
you want to
New
know
School.
how you know that the show is cheap? Because the opening starts with the like image of Cusco's temple from the first movie, and it looks pristine. It's clearly an acrylic painting. It looks golden. It looks beautiful. And then he gets kicked over to the Emperor's New School, and it is the cheapest looking animation ever. As far as how the school looks, it's just like damn, they really didn't give y'all no budget.
I liked it. I thought it was a funny show.
No, it is. Like, it's a funny show.
I forget. Like, I think about it now, and I was like, who was running things though? Who was the stand-in emperor? Because Yzma was principal.
It's Pacha.
Pacha was running.
I don't know if it's actually true or not. I just like it to be Pacha.
You're like, it's Pacha. Him and his wife do pop up randomly in episodes.
Mm-hmm. I like that I love that this show is like, because that's the one of the few Disney movies that doesn't follow the formula, in that there's no love interest, there's no like girl that he's trying to impress or he has to learn a lesson and then she'll like be with him or whatever. No, it is a very much a buddy road trip movie about two dudes going on a road trip. One learns a valuable lesson about how to not be so self-centered. And that is the story going forward. And then they make this show and it's like, well, he's got to have some girl that he's into. I don't know. Let's make up one. And I'm like, why? Cusco does not need a love interest. In fact, if anything, it makes it seem like he's not really interested in girls when we meet Cusco.
Well, at the time, he's an emperor. He's got things to do.
Because as we know in the Emperor's New Groove, he's played by David Spade. Yeah. And when I was watching the episode, I'm like, who is this? His voice sounds familiar, but it's not.
Yeah, because that's definitely not David Spade.
Right. But it's J.P. Mano, who was in Phil of the Future. He played the caveman and the principal.
Oh, really? I know the principal. I don't remember the caveman.
The caveman was like
yeah. Like that when you said the name, I was like, isn't that the guy from Community who plays who's the dean? I'm pretty sure he's the dean in Community. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He was the dean in Phil of the Future too?
No.
Or principal?
Yes, he was the dean in he was but he was on Phil of the Future. Yeah, he played the caveman.
Oh, he was also in Minuteman. Do you remember Minuteman? It was a Disney Channel movie where kids invent a time machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's why I like time travel so much. It has literally been in things I've been watching since I was a kid. And also, did you know, fun fact, you can have 500 tabs open in your iPhone before they tell you can't open anymore.
Did they just tell you can't open anymore?
I may have found out a couple days ago that is a thing. I need to some tabs.
honestly, like
And you talk about
yeah,
me and my
no.
tabs.
No,
I
no, no,
think
no, no. Hold on, real quick. No, 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 no.
Never
Sir,
mind.
you had
Never mind,
like
Jerome.
5 Google ones open, and then you went from like Passion of the Christ, Wikipedia, to like, I forget even what, but it was something that has nowhere near being Jesus stuff. All right.
It's all the stuff that we talk about on the podcast.
When did
is
we
it
talk
though?
about? When did we talk about Passion of the Christ? And then like
We did.
I think it was
we were looking up Mel Gibson something like.
Why did you have Google email open up 5 times though?
Anyway,
Anyway,
Emperor's New School
it
is
has
all
no
right.
effect on your life.
It does, because I think about it, sir. It randomly pops into my head.
So Eartha Kitt is fantastic as Yzma, and I'm glad that they cast her again as Yzma in the cartoon. I did not know that. I thought that she had passed by then, but I'm glad to hear that she'd still been alive by that point. Because who else would play that character? Nobody else can do that character. I'm sorry. That's why it's like if you want to know when I would riot on Disney, the second they're like, and we're doing live action Emperor's New Groove. All right, well, that's it. They've run crossed the line because nobody's gonna do Yzma. Nobody.
Well, it's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to like it. Okay?
Nope. Because I'm burning the studio down after that because y'all have gone too far. You can't replace
next week when they announce Disney has announced the Emperor's New Groove live action movie.
They would
which,
do.
Speaking of Lilo and Stitch, they just released that they cast Lilo, and the little girl, she looks very adorable and just like Lilo.
Again, there's some things that just shouldn't be in live action. I do not want to see what Stitch looks like in live action. I'm sorry.
No, it's not going to be live action. It's going to be CGI, and Zach Galifianakis is playing Stitch.
I don't know about
that. That can go either way. That can go. He's like
not even the Zach Galifianakis thing. It's just the fact that it's 3D animation. I'm like, no, it looks good in 2D animation. I don't know if it'll look better in 3D, especially depending on how they do it.
They just have to be really careful with basically other culture movies, because like after Avatar, now everybody's watching them. Avatar: The Last Bender, what they did with that movie. Now everybody's like, all right, but I'm watching every step you're doing with this. All right, if I see you doing anything wrong, we're coming after you like we did Powerpuff Girls.
Look, just make original content. It's not hard.
Apparently, it is.
Well, what I mean is, it's not hard because I'm like, you act like there's not thousands upon thousands of people that are creative and have the passion to make an original project that you can't just pluck from Joe Blow anywhere to just give them some money and be like, hey, you want to work on a Disney movie? And they won't just say yes. Hey, Gibson, by the way.
You get that sweet thing, and I got mine showing his ass to the whole internet.
But you know what I mean? Like, it don't make no type of sense, okay? Like, just go out and hire some people. That's what they did when the writer's strike happened. When the writer's strike happened, they were like, well, we need some new writers then. That's what this means.
Yeah, but
that's not. It wasn't cool to do that during the writer's strike.
It wasn't cool, and there was a plummet in like good quality content, though.
But you know, I'm just saying, there's options. Past just let's just remake what we already did.
Jerome, I take it you did not like The Emperor's New School.
No, I like The Emperor's New School. I actually like the episode a lot.
You ragged on the animation.
Yeah, you come with a whole.
I am ragging on the animation because the animation is cheap.
Feels like it,
but it's not awful. It's just cheap. There's a difference between being cheap and bad. Right?
I'm not insulting anything. I'm just calling you cheap and worthless, and you're just a cash grab, you know. But yeah, I guess I enjoyed it.
It is, but at the same time, at least this is one of the good ones. Like Emperor's New School and Buzz Lightyear, I think were the two best ones. I think Tarzan wasn't really all that good, and Aladdin also wasn't all that good. But Emperor's New Lilo and Stitch was good. I liked Lilo and Stitch because they had an actual premise to work off of. Because Lilo and Stitch 2, which granted, I wonder if it was a plan though, where they're like, well, we can't make a cartoon off of the first movie, so let's make the second movie to justify the cartoon.
At the end of Lilo and Stitch series, Stitch is supposed to die. that he completed what his existence was. So
Jonathan's face was just like, Alex, I can't take no more. I can't do this no more.
First, the parents dying when they learn the secret. Now Stitch dying.
don't get mad at me. Get mad at Disney. They have their own formula. I'm sorry that I figured it out.
I remember watching that every morning. That in recess every morning before I would go to school. Specifically in like ninth or 10th grade, for whatever reason, Disney Channel, they would like show the old Disney Channel cartoons in the morning, and I would watch those when I would like eat my cereal and stuff. But yeah, and with the Emperor's New School, the fact that they brought back not only Eartha Kitt but also Patrick Warburton, you can't have anyone else play Kronk.
Again. That's the same thing. You get those two are a dynamic duo who can only be played by those two actors. Like that's it. That's it. It is what it is. Like you can't have Earth Kitt not play Yzma. You can't have Patrick Warburton not play Kronk. All right, it's just how it is. But I will say that I think that's half of why I think this show still works, because the premise is flawed. All right, it doesn't make any sense. If he's already emperor,
tell me no again how much you love the show. How much you enjoyed this episode.
No way they could make him go to school to learn to be emperor. You've already given him the position. All right,
that was the irony of it.
Away.
That's the irony of it, because it's like, it's his school, whatever. He's emperor, but he still gets the shaft, and nobody really likes him. Like,
sounds contrived to me, but given but what makes it work is the characters. The characters are still super strong. Cusco's still exactly like who he is and is funny and pretentious. Although it is a little sad to be like, dang, that whole adventure with Pacha didn't teach you nothing. You're still the same person.
Yeah.
But it's
he's a horrible person. Like,
but that inside deep down he is just awful.
But it works, for the cartoon. But Melina's a nice, like, cool new character to have to be like his foil to balance it out. And then no matter what, you've always got Yzma and Kronk to make you laugh and to like balance it. And I love the nods back to the old movie, like in the episode that you chose where you have the like pull the lever, and they pull the lever and they do the whole thing, the whole entire sequence, the roller coaster sequence. Like they do the high five, then they rush off, and then they're like, here's what we're going to do. And you see the like silhouette animation. Like, I'm like, that's really cool. So it's like, I only say it's cheap because it's like, I've seen the animation with a high budget of the exact same thing. And I know what it can look like with a higher budget. But despite that lower budget, they still make the most of it. And I think that's why I like the show a lot, is it still has a lot of charm to it. Like the spirit is still there, even if they didn't necessarily get the ability to have as big a animation team for this show. They still were able to capture at least the spirit, the drive, the characters, like all of the necessary pieces that made the movie work is what makes the show work. So that's what I mean by like, I'm like, no, I can brag on the show because it's like, because there are
like you
clear
just
issues.
Cheap.
But
feels like a lot though.
But the show still has like the spirit of Emperor's New Groove in it, which is more than I can say for most of the like movie cartoons Disney made off of one of their like animated films.
Never forget, Nickelodeon did that a lot too, where they would create a show based off of a movie.
The only one that succeeded was like Jimmy Neutron.
But
and I still didn't know that was a movie first.
Yeah, and that was, I think we've talked about it before on here, but that was like one of the, I think it was like one of the first ones to have done it. But it was like always planned that way. It was always planned to have the movie and then this TV series after it.
Jonathan, you mentioned Recess, and I wanted to ask you, why did you choose that episode? Because TJ has a full-on ass mental breakdown. Why would you pick that one?
That was one of the ones that I had just like remembered. I
can see why.
Basically, in all of my selections, I pretty much chose ones that like stood out to me that I remembered having either like a fun time watching or just just stood out to me. And with the Proud Family, I had done a rewatch of that in like 2020, like during the pandemic, like when everybody was at home. I did a rewatch of the Proud Family, and I did a partial rewatch of Recess too, where I watched maybe I think like the first season. This was one of the episodes that that stood out to me as well.
Why?
So
Why? Like
I
what
just
about?
remember him
You're like
being in that box. Well, I mainly chose it for the trial episode, but I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this box episode.
Which I immediately guessed. I was like, Randall did it to himself, obviously. Like, but I
trust Randall.
I love how Recess is, because like I like as I was listening to the theme, I was like, oh my god, I forgot how much like a military type, like or like a this feels like a show that's supposed to take place in like a military school or something, but it doesn't. But it should, like, because it's just because of the music and the font they use is like all often used for military stuff or whatever. Like it's very, and then like of course the main villain, like she's very strict with the rules, and they're like and our main characters are the rule breakers. I'm like, this should take place in a military school, and it's weird that it doesn't.
And Gus, one of the kids, his dad is a military. That's how he got to the school. Yeah. He's like a military brat.
He's got the glasses, and he's got the military haircut too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that episode was like really I was like, he full on like broke for a minute. I was like, this is haunting a little bit. Like this poor kid, he's like rocking back and forth. He's like, TJ's gonna be good boy. And I was like, oh my god, this is insane. I was wondering, I was like, why would you choose this episode? And then I was like, maybe the trial part, because that was kind of cute. And I like how Spinelli got the cat out of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But that was another thing. Randall had a fucking breakdown because he like heard I owe you one, and he's like, those words are seared into my soul. I was like, whoa, dude, you need to relax a little bit.
Randall, I was just realizing when I was watching it now that like they really, even with how he's drawn, Randall looked like a rat. Like the way
that's what I'm saying. He looks like a weasel.
Because he's also doing this all the time.
Hunched over.
His like face like this far out. Yeah. Then his hands, he's like, good. I'm like, yeah, bro, they really drew you like a rat.
Yeah.
I forgot about the king. I forgot about the ruler.
Yeah, me too. Some of my favorite episodes are with him when they like when they're on, when he's sitting on that like the playground thing.
Yeah.
So check this out. I'm reading this off the Wikipedia, but I'm like, yeah, this feels very true. It's like how deep Recess gets. It's like a major satirical point of the show is that the community of students at school is a microcosm of traditional human society, complete with its own government, class system, and set of unwritten laws. They are ruled by a monarch, a sixth grader named King Bob, who has various enforcers to make sure his decrees are carried out. The society has a long list of rigid values and social norms that imposes a high expectation of conformity upon all the students. Recess is illustrated to be a symbol of liberty, a time when children can express themselves and develop meaningful relationships. Most episodes involve one or more of the main six characters seeking a rational balance between individuality and social order. And I'm like, and it goes on like this for a while in this overview. And I'm like, God damn, this is like super deep. The crazy one being this interpretation is confirmed by the Cold War motifs found throughout the show. For example, Miss Grotke's philosophical and activist attitudes attributed to her belonging to the counterculture of the 1960s are juxtaposed with the authoritarian and conservative views of her colleagues, such as Miss Finster and Principal Prickly.
Jeez.
So they were loosely based off the ideologies of the Cold War era.
Like it gets deep with Recess. Like they're trying to be like, we're trying to raise socialists is what we're trying to do.
I guess conservatives were
right. And it's kind of true if you think about it, like the different episodes where you get to visit some of the different groups of kids that are on, the playground.
one of my favorite episodes, and I don't know why it is so Spinelli is found out her first name is actually Ashley.
Ashley, and then
Yeah.
she becomes an Ashley.
She becomes an Ashley, but that's not my favorite one though. It's when they give her a pair of like wrestling tickets, and they're like, "Here for you and your friends," and they're like, "Why are you being nice?" And they're like, "You're an Ashley. We're Ashleys. This is what we do." So they break into their like, and it was amazing because these Ashleys have like their own like private room under that jungle gym thing, and it's like beautiful. There's pillows, there's a private bathroom, all this stuff. They find the Ashley rule book, and it really just says if one Ashley doesn't want anything, you must give it to another Ashley. And they're like, "Oh, so we're missing a wrestling match right now." They can't get out of their little lair, and then it was Mikey and Gus who were like went to the actual wrestling show, and they got like a signed chair and everything. That episode, I don't know, has always stuck with me, and I've always thought it was so funny. I need to rewatch it to see if it's actually as funny as I remember it. I don't want to be disappointed, but I was like, I always remember that, how they were so distrusting of them, being like, this isn't right. They're lying to us. And Mikey and Gus are like, no, have faith. They're doing this out of goodness. These tickets are real. No, we're going to go there and we're going to get pelted by eggs or something.
I only remember, the most I remember about Recess is not the show, but the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. I don't know, which I don't remember much from the movie, but I remember TJ being like the main character, more or less, of the show or of the movie, and all the kids rallying back after summer vacation to hang out with him.
I remember the episode where Spinelli and him kiss.
Oh yeah,
That
wasn't it
that's
like a
the
dare or
social norm.
something?
Yeah, well, nobody had known. Nobody had their first kiss, and nobody knew what it was like gonna kiss. So they drew short straws about who would kiss who. It was them two, and I just thought that was hilarious because that's something of a social norm to have your first kiss and everything like that. And all the kids were like, "We want to know what it's like, but we don't want to do it." So they sacrificed two of their friends for this experiment. Wow, socialism, yeah.
This is so cool. I'm looking at like fan art of like the Recess cast all grown up and stuff. And it's interesting. Some of the stuff some people came up with. One in particular, I feel like is a little offensive. It's I forget the black kid's name right now.
Oh, TJ. No, that TJ's the white guy, the main kid.
Apparently, it's so
Vince.
bad we don't remember it.
Yeah,
Vince.
they drew Vince with just like he just has a Celtics jersey and all the tattoos, just all like covered sleeves on both arms and legs. And I'm like, okay, like
I also know he liked to cook a lot. That was one of his main centric episodes, was that they found out he's an amazing baker.
yeah, a lot of these also are they draw Spinelli and TJ together. I'm assuming based off that one episode.
They also had a little vibe together, I think.
Also,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be a Disney's doing a Recess live action movie.
No,
wait,
why?
wait.
Wait. Shut up, Jonathan.
What?
Okay,
That
so
felt
here's
weird. Hold
hold on. Let me
I'm
see if I
usually
can
saying that
find
to
a
Jerome.
more. Let me see if I can find a more credible source on this. Here's
the
from
only thing
Daily Mail.
The only thing I see is possible revival in 2022. Joe Ansola Behir revealed that he and Paul Germain had been working on a potential revival, stating, "We've come up with several different angles and we've tried different things. It's been 4 years that we've been working on it, but that's an example of how things change. Things are slower."
I see something about a fan made one, Recess. That's it. I kind of want to watch the fan made one.
I'm trying to find when this article is written because if it's no time, this was written in 2019. So the project's probably, if they were doing it, the project's probably dead by now.
Oh yeah.
But there are pictures of.
Hold on.
Of
That's
the
how it
cast
was
and
last
everything.
episode. What you're doing right now, Jonathan, that's what I was doing last episode. Cheddar was on doing some shit too. I know that
Right.
look. I'm thankful they're not doing a live action because there's no reason to. There's no need for that.
You act like Disney cares. They're like, oh, we don't care what you think.
That's a fair point.
There needs to be. We will if we want to make it. Dang it, we'll make it.
That's fair.
Emperor's
That's
New
Who's gonna
Groove,
stop
or
us?
Emperor's New
You?
Groove live action.
Emperor's New Groove. Next one's gonna be Emperor's Groove live action.
Mhm.
It's true. I may have like doomed Emperor's New Groove to now have a live action. Like, how
I
dare
want to
Disney-
look up
how
to
he
see
tell
if
us
they.
it.
I mean, honestly, let's be real. Disney is monitoring everything that mentions its name. It's gonna hear something be like 11 people mentioned a live action Cusco. Let's do that. Let's find out who's gonna play Cusco.
Still played by David Spade though.
Right.
The offense and not offense of it is like technically, but no, I don't know where it falls. I mean, how old is David Spade too? He's like
David Spade could easily go back to. Oh, you're talking about for the live action?
Yeah.
Uh,
How old is that he? Man, I
probably in
remember
the
watching
50s.
him. Yeah.
he's
I
58.
remember watching him in that show where they worked at a modeling agency.
Oh, I don't know.
That was like really early, that was like mid 90s. That show was
Also-
not for children. I should not have been watching that show. That was
I was,
completely inappropriate.
I was looking on Wikipedia. Apparently, Recess had a crossover with Lilo and Stitch, the series.
Mhm.
What? When?
The Proud Family also did as well, and Kim
I
Possible.
remember that. I remember those two because they had Disney kept doing these like 3 series crossovers, like with Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and That's So Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember them doing that with Kim Possible, Lilo and Stitch, and the Proud Family. I did not know they did a Recess and Lilo and Stitch. I didn't know those shows were on at the same time.
They weren't. Lilo and Stitch. It says Lilo and Stitch, the series, featured an episode titled Lax that featured the cast of Recess when TJ and the gang go on a school vacation to Hawaii. Notably, Recess was the only series that crossed over with Lilo and Stitch, the series that was not a Disney Channel original series and whose production had already ended before Lilo and Stitch, the series, first aired. So it wasn't
Okay.
on.
Oh, thank God. Because I thought I was like, am I older or younger than I thought I was? How long is Lilo and Stitch? Like, my timelines in my everyday life are already messed up. I don't need that. I don't need that confusion there.
Apparently, Gretchen saves the day in the episode.
Because she's the only smart one. They literally, they really, stereotyped each character. Like, this is it, and that's all. You have your
this is
character.
Who you are. Yep.
All of it, yeah.
Tomboy, military kid, nerd, fat kid, black guy, and
TJ, who's gonna reach his peak in high school, and that's it.
Probably that's true. Yeah, this is it for him. You know what I mean? Like, it's over after this.
He's gonna take over as king one day for their little monarchy system.
I'm not seeing anything about a live action revival at this moment, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Anything's possible. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing live action Recess. It just depends on how they do it, you know.
Oh, I meant of the Emperor's New Groove. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just
Of Recess. Yeah, I could see one of Recess.
Church right up.
But the
think
kids
they
always
need to
seemed
leave those
older
kids
than
alone.
4th grade.
Well, I think because the from the pictures of, if it is a fake thing they were doing, it looks like they were trying to be like, yeah, it's Recess, but like in high school. So the kids
Oh,
are
you're
older.
looking. There's a fan made film of Recess.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there is
yeah.
a fan made one, and I think that's where people are like, they should make a live action. There was talks. From the article I read, there were talks of it because of the fan made film, but the fan made film I think came out around the same time they had that fan made. I don't know if it was a trailer or it was an actual film of Magic School Bus, where Miss Frizzle goes to hell.
I feel like the fan, like a fan made Magic School Bus one, would be like so dark. It'd be like,
yeah. Have
it'd
you
be
ever
from
seen
like
the
this
trailer
no,
of
I've
it?
never no.
Oh, we'll watch it after this. Miss Frizzle literally goes to hell.
It's just, I just feel like it's from Arnold's perspective of like, day 38 on the moon. Miss Frizzle's left us here. We've had to survive on our own.
Actually,
And then
well,
she comes back and she's like, I'm like, sorry, children, I've been in the middle of a space battle and I now need your help. And she gets the crew together and all the kids are on different like planets or something. And they just like fight together in an intergalactic war for the galaxy.
You
on their
went-
bus.
So, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Very much, yes. Liz
What
is
you've
like
now
actual-
described is Guardians of the Galaxy plot there. Disney really reusing their titles, or their plots, aren't they?
Magic School Bus is not from Disney. Magic School Bus is from what, PBS?
So Disney's stealing work now. Yes, I think
Wait.
so.
No, I don't think it's PBS.
Yeah, it is PBS.
Is it? Wait.
Mhm.
Are you
Get
sure?
on the Magic School Bus.
Yeah. A lot of these cartoons kind of just mesh as you get older, but you can tell just by like the quality of them. Cause like Magic School Bus was good, but it wasn't drawn the best either. There was a little bit of less money to it. You could tell.
I can't
Yeah.
find where
It
it
was
was.
PBS.
It was,
I
yeah, it
don't
was
remember
PBS. Was the
watching
first
it
thing
on
broadcast
PBS.
on.
That's so weird.
I don't remember half the things I've watched, but I remember them in some weird way.
Should
Magic
we quickly,
School Bus.
should we quickly chat about Jackie Chan Adventures? Because this is about to be our
No, that
record.
was okay because it was a WB, really
Oh.
WB Disney. So
But it was
I
cool that
watched it
Jackie
anyway.
Chan had a
It was a good
TV show.
episode.
Yeah,
it
Mhm.
was.
Jackie Chan deserves that TV show. He deserves everything he gets, man. Jackie Chan's great. I'm glad that he's still out here. He's still with us. And I hope to see more stuff he does. I don't know if I necessarily
I
he should
think
be doing more action movies, but whatever he does in the future, I am.
I
going
think
to
he's
watch.
mostly
If Harrison
retired.
Ford can still be Indiana Jones, Jackie Chan can still be Jackie Chan.
You know what? That's a very
That's
good
a-
statement.
See, but that's not true because Harrison Ford is not Indiana Jones all the time now. In the new movie, there is CG Harrison Ford all over the place because clearly he is too old to be doing some of these stuff.
He's tired. The man is tired. With Jackie Chan, I love the there was one interview I saw of him. I think who was he fighting? Oh, what's the one martial arts actor who passed? Lee, what's his first
Bruce
name?
Lee.
Bruce Lee. He was talking about the first film he ever did with Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee accidentally knocked him on the head, but kept filming the scene. After they yelled cut, Bruce Lee came up to him and was like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay?" Like blah blah blah. And Jackie Chan was like, "I was 22." He's like, "I was a young man. I could bounce back. It didn't hurt so much. He didn't hit me that hard." But he's like, it's Bruce Lee. So when he asked me if I was okay, I was like, "Ow, ow, ow, ow. No, it hurts so much." So like Bruce Lee, being a very kind man, was just like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, throughout the whole day, he kept asking me how I was. He kept giving me tips on this and that. He's like, "It was great." It was great to have Bruce Lee fawning over me because he thought he hurt me.
Thinking about like Jackie Chan though, I forget if she says he was also partially her mentor, but I know that they're friends. Is Michelle Yeoh and Jackie Chan? They're good friends, mainly because they came into Hollywood around the same time. Or I think she said that Jackie came first, and then he pushed her to be like, "Hey, come to Hollywood and make movies because you're really good, and I know that you have the skills to do it." And it's so crazy to think about that, of like, thanks to Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh came over and did movies. And now this past year, because I didn't know this until I think a couple weeks ago, that Michelle Yeoh is the first female Asian actress to ever win an Oscar for best actress. And I'm like,
only the second actress of color after Halle Berry to win for best actress in the 95 Academy Awards.
that doesn't sound right, because
Doesn't it though? Doesn't it?
well, no, because what's her name, Hattie McDaniels, what did she win for?
She was
She's
supporting.
the first.
She was
Oh,
best
the
supporting
supporting
actress.
actress. Okay, got it. Okay, well,
There's been tons of women of color that have gotten best supporting actress, but only 2 have gotten best leading actress.
That's
Do you know
insane.
the original Oscar award was designed after a Latino man?
Really?
The figure that he is, yeah. So lots of racism there in the Oscar award.
They're like, and now
But-
only white people will get this man's award.
White people still gripping a Latino man. All right.
Yeah, I think, although I think it's really like we need to like have, because we didn't get to do El Tigre Mucha Lucha was not on, like, if it was on HBO Max for Cartoon Network, I would have picked it. We need to do like a day, maybe for Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll do like all of the Hispanic cartoons that we never get to talk about.
Well, can we include other like TV shows in that as well? Because growing up, my show was The Brothers Garcia, and nobody talks about that show nowadays. They even have a reboot on HBO Max that I think got canceled. But regardless,
Latino shows, Latino based shows often don't stay very long because they're categorized in as a like genre instead of like what they're actually a genre of, like comedy or something. No, it's a Latino show. It's not a comedy show. So a lot of them will get canceled based on that and the lack of viewership because they have their own category, which is stupid. It's a comedy. It's a family show. It should have been based. It should have been based that way, and you know, pushed that way when you're looking through the comedy selection.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. We should do that. It would be very nice.
We'll give some props. Maybe not next week, because next week we have a plan. But eventually,
we actually have a plan next week.
We will give Hispanic Heritage Month.
But that's
like, probably even before that.
September.
Yeah, probably before then we'll do that episode. We're not gonna wait that long. We might actually like if I don't know. You can see if we can call Monica back, see if she wants to come and be a part of that episode.
I feel like she'd have include me in that discussion.
Well, it's like I'm just saying. Listen, this is how we did. This is how the cartoon retrospective got started. Because I literally was just talking, and then we were like, "Yeah, let's do that."
Sometimes we just let you go, and eventually it's like, "All right, you planned out a month. That's cool. We worked this out on audio, so that works."
But yeah, like any final thoughts on like not just Disney, but the entire, because now this is the first time you've done a series of episodes on the same topic, more or less. So any final thoughts on this journey that maybe you found or things like that?
I was a little surprised with Reese's. I mean, I never saw the military feel. I felt the military feel. Did not like see it, I guess. And a lot of these cartoons had such deeper meanings than I had anticipated, because that one went really far, like Cold War based far. A lot of these cartoons were
PTSD.
Right? Yeah, I was like, good lord, okay, yeah. A lot of these cartoons just went deeper than I remember them going deeper. And of course, you're a kid, you're not paying attention to the deeper meaning. You're looking at the surface thing. And it's like, oh, I kind of see where certain ideals and things come from now. A funny thing I do is I say please and thank you, like in one sentence. I'm like, hey, can you do this? Please and thank you. Kim Possible says that. And so does Pepper Ann. I was like, people are like, why do you always say please and thank you? And I'm like, oh, now I know where I got it from. So it was interesting to go back with a lot of these shows, Nicktoons, Cartoon Network, and Disney, to be like a lot of speech patterns or ways I say things actually do come from these shows. That's how much they have influenced me in my life. And even as an adult now, I don't know where I'm like, oh, where did I get this saying from? There it is. I also forgot how I always was a little annoyed by Ron Stoppable, but I love him now. As an adult, I was like, I wish I have a friend like that. He'd be great. I love him.
Insane.
He was so much fun. He was a ride or die guy, and I respect that.
That's true. Yeah, he's very ride or die for Kim.
He was the one jumping off the 5-foot buildings. Or 500 feet.
Jonathan, do you have any last thoughts? Any through this cartoon journey that we've been on?
It was fun. It was fun getting to reminisce on the old cartoons of our youth. And it was cool to see kind of some of the trends that the networks followed in terms of what type of content they put out in their cartoons. Nickelodeon, you have some of maybe the gross out humor, just some of like the just it more of in that realm. Maybe not for all their stuff, but for some of it. Cartoon Network, you have some more of the dark humor. And then with Disney, it's more of like the family friendly humor. So it's really cool to compare and contrast the different networks and their shows. And looking back, because when you're a kid, you're like, I'm just watching this, but as an adult, you look at it with more of like an analytical mind, I guess. So that was kind of cool, and just it was fun to reminisce. I'm definitely going to be watching some more of. I did my Proud Family rewatch, but I might watch some more episodes of Proud Family. I'm definitely going to watch some more episodes of Recess. And we didn't get to the Powerpuff Girls, but I might check some of those out as well. And yeah, and Sanjay and Craig, of course, but that doesn't need to be mentioned. So
Yeah, I would say this was
That's a great show to watch high. But sober it wasn't so much fun. Sober it was like kind of like, what the hell is going on?
it definitely was this was a fun journey to go on of like reminiscing on old cartoons, but also like, well, not old, but cartoons that are relevant to us, our age range, our like, you know, time as children. And looking back and seeing like what, like, you know, if we still like them, like, you know, because it's always easy. It's so easy to, it made me think of SNL, where how there's always that generation that's like, SNL ain't been funny since so and so. And it's like, yeah, because you remember your time in like watching SNL, unless it's the 80s. The 80s, everyone has unanimously decided was the worst time of SNL. Easily. The only funny person was Eddie Murphy. But after that, and going into the 90s and the 2000s, 2010s, like everybody's got their era of SNL that they enjoyed watching for a time. And it's the same thing with cartoons, where everybody's got their era of cartoons they enjoyed watching to a degree. And so it's kind of cool to, I'm distracted because somebody's fire alarm's going on. Like smoke alarms going on.
Second week in a row.
Yeah, man.
No. Someone's out here burning the kitchen up. I'm trying to get my
somebody trying to make
and I can't focus because I'm here beeping.
Going off your night really quick, I was surprised when you remember these shows and you're like, yeah, I used to love them. I didn't, and that's what I've been doing when I've gone back. I'm like, oh, I really love these. Oh, I didn't know I would love this so much. And I was really surprised with myself with the American Dragon Jake Long, where I was like, I don't like this show so much anymore. And it's not because anything was like offensive or anything was like, oh my God, how could they say that or anything? Although the black friend, they really did her dirty, I think. But it was more that like, this is not holding my interest at all. And I'm like, it's Jesus Christ, Jerome.
Hit the table.
You okay over there? Yeah, you go. There's a lot going on over at your place. It was more so that was like, this isn't funny as an adult anymore. I really either grew out of the show or maybe it was never funny to begin with. I can't tell to me.
Yeah, I just love the idea of like going back down memory lane and watching old cartoons that brought me back to my childhood and my days of just sitting in front of a TV watching content 24/7. Also, audience, before you comment, yes, we did not do gargoyles for Disney cartoons, but dang it, listen, we couldn't do them all. Right.
I don't think anybody's like, oh my God, how could they not do gargoyles?
I feel like
I don't feel like you're missing.
I'm mentioning it for when we eventually become uber popular and we have thousands upon thousands of views, and there's somebody who's going to be like, y'all didn't talk about gargoyles. Y'all ain't bringing it. You're talking about gargoyles.
I really still feel like that's not going to be a thing, but okay, go on.
Alex, please clip that. And just Jerome saying that what he just did.
That'll be the first thing posted on Monday.
We're talking about gargoyles. Yeah, talking about gargoyles. Like, it's just like, yo, chill. Anyway,
that will be the first thing posted on Monday. Don't worry.
Tell us your favorite Disney live action shows.
That too.
Or not live action, sorry, cartoon shows that you really enjoyed. And also comment below if you have followed the entire series of us doing our retrospectives on cartoons, what you thought about all the cartoons we talked about, or maybe cartoons we didn't talk about that you're like, oh man, I wish you guys had talked about this. Because maybe we could do a part 2 of this series. There's a lot of cartoons we did not get to just because we did not have the time. So comment below, tell us how you feel. Tell us what you're thinking. And we'll read them and let you know what we're thinking. Anyway, socials. Jonathan, go.
You can follow me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. You can find us at The First Ones to Die on all of your social networks. You can email us, thefirstones2die@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe. Give us a comment as well. And if you're listening to us on a podcast platform, go ahead and give us 5 stars and a review. Alex, where can people find you?
Your weatherman pause again. You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok. And if TikTok is still around by the time this episode airs, you can find The First Ones to Die there, where I show little clips of the episode. You'll see Jerome's lovely screaming, as well as things we may have reviewed to things we are going to review, and my little personal mini reviews of shows that I'm watching. So come find us there. And Jerome, where are they finding you?
You can find me at Jerome Red on Instagram, as well as at Robozu Media and at Jerome_the_show. See other stuff I'm working on. And if you want to get exclusive content you can't get on any of the audio streaming platforms, go on over to the YouTube channel and check out some extra content over there. We got all types of stuff like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming content, vlogs, all types of things, and of course video versions of all of the podcasts. So if you want to see our lovely faces, come on over and check that out as well. Tune in next week when we talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, it's on D&D time. You listen to what we have to say.
To apologize ahead of time for any comments made about Chris Pine.
You don't have. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say you were gonna make fun of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, you don't have a leg to stand on anymore. You're playing Dungeons and Dragons now.
Sir, I will make fun of anything I want to. You know I can't do that, especially when it comes to you. No, just apologize for any Chris Pine comments ahead of time.
What, you not feeling Ray J. Jean?
Oh, no. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see what
Well,
Alex
tune in
has
next
to say.
week to see what comes out of Alex's mouth.
Either way, I do apologize.
All right.
I wonder if he sings. Oh, I love it, a Chris Pine song.
Anyway, bye, y'all.
Bye. Go on over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die to see all the fun stuff we got going on here, like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming videos, vlogs, all types of stuff.
Please follow us at The First Ones to Die everywhere. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe.